This video is too good to not repost. Take a minute and watch the whole thing from start to finish. Anybody that said anything negative about Charlie Kirk, I just encourage you to watch this entire video. And remember, they want us divided.
Charlie Kirk's death has led me to an uncomfortable conversation that I want to facilitate. To my white brothers and sisters, how would you hope your minority friends respond to the celebration of Charlie Kirk's life when he has very publicly said things like this?
I live like a capitalist every single day, Shank. I live as a capitalist.
Because of DEI, it begs the question when you see a black pilot, you wonder, you say, I hope they are qualified. If I'm dealing with somebody in customer service who's a moronic black woman, I wonder, is she there because of her excellence? And Michelle Obama and Sheila Jackson Lee and Ketanji Brown Jackson were affirmative action picks. They're coming out and they're saying, I'm only here because of affirmative action. Yeah, we know. You do not have the brain processing power to otherwise be taken really seriously.
Refer to Asian individuals by the C word, a word too violent for me to even utter.
We started this whole thing off wrong. I would suggest you do some research and get some context about things before you start formulating your opinions. For one, he didn't call anyone the C word. He called the man by his name. He was talking to the man whose name is Cenk. Cenk was speaking out of turn from the crowd, saying something to Charlie that was not true. Now, you can argue Charlie lost his self-control, which I think he did. I think he should have handled it a little bit better, but he wasn't calling anybody the C word. So again, we're starting this whole thing off with misinformation. Now, let's let you continue.
Refer to Michelle Obama and Ketanji Brown Jackson of the Supreme Court, both Harvard graduates, as not having the brain processing power to be taken seriously.
Yes, he can critique their brain processing power. Also, Ketanji Brown Jackson and Kamala Harris are both DEI hires, and I'll show you the proof here in a second. But back to brain processing power. Let's go back to Ketanji Brown Jackson when she was asked a question. Watch this.
Can you provide a definition for the word woman?
Can I provide a definition? No,
Yeah.
I can't.
You can't?
I think you and I can both agree that a woman wanting to be nominated for the Supreme Court should be able to define what a woman is. It's not rocket science. Now let's go back to the proof of DEI. Listen to Joe Biden.
I committed that if I'm elected president, have an opportunity to appoint someone to the courts, I'll appoint the first black woman to the courts. It's required that they have representation now. It's long overdue. Secondly, if I'm elected president, my cabinet, my administration will look like the country. And I commit that I will, in fact, I'll pick a woman to be vice president.
So yes, in the 2020 primaries, Joe Biden told us what he was going to do. Ketanji Brown Jackson and Kamala Harris were both DEI hires or appointees or picks, whatever you want to say. And his DEI appointee to the Supreme Court couldn't even define what a woman is. Joe Biden didn't say, hey, I'm going to go find the absolute best person for the job. I don't care if they're a man, I don't care if they're a woman. I'm going to go find the best person for the job. He said, I'm going to put women in both positions, and I'm going to put a black woman on the Supreme Court. And that is the energy the left was trying to spread across the country. And for a while, that was spreading across the country. There are also many people on the left who tried to lower standards for black people. So just because someone like Joe Biden says somebody's qualified, what is their definition of qualified? So what Charlie Kirk is saying makes perfect sense. If you know a bunch of people are getting put in positions due to the color of their skin, that begs the question, are they actually qualified? Because we know it's not about merit at this point, it's about skin color. And Joe Biden was trying to set that precedent from the top. So no, Charlie's not wrong for saying that. And also, I want to go back to Charlie saying this.
If I'm dealing with somebody in customer service who's a moronic black woman, I wonder, is she there because of her excellence?
I think a lot of people are going to take that out of context, and he said that black women are moronic. That is not what he said. He was being very specific with what he said. He said a moronic black woman. He didn't say black women are all moronic. He's giving a very specific situation. If there's a moronic black woman in customer service that's not doing good at her job, he wonders if she's there due to merit or if she's a DEI hire because people are focusing on skin color aggressively in their hiring processes. That's not racist. So I'm not speaking for white people. I can't speak for them specifically here. What I'm saying though is I would expect black people to be able to see these things for what they are and not be emotionally manipulated by compilations that aren't really accurate about what's going on. I would expect black people to do their research, no offense, like you didn't because you thought he called him a slur when he just called him by his name. I would expect us to do more research about many of these topics rather than just seeing something taken out of context and then latching onto that and saying, oh, he's racist, he's a bigot, he's this, he's that. So I would expect Black people to be better than that and see through a bunch of these lies that are being spread. And then if you're able to see through the lies that are being spread, there's no reason to be offended about people celebrating his life.